James Bagg here. Before we get into my review of the Grand Theft Auto Trilogy, the Definitive Edition, I need to give a content warning. In this video, I will be discussing rape, suicide, and spousal abuse. Some of you may have noticed a format I like to use for my content. I'll review a piece of media while at the same time giving you a small window into my life. If I'm doing it correctly, you should see a connection between the two threads. While I was going to play it, I had no intention on reviewing the Grand Theft Auto Trilogy, the Definitive Edition. It just so happened that the day that I picked my copy up, I received news that an old mentor of mine had passed away. Richard Kyanka, who went by the screen name Lowtax, was a Web 1.0 pioneer. It's unlikely you've heard of this man, but his importance to online comedy and communities cannot be understated. You know, it's interesting to be so tragically reminded of this person who was so influential to me while at the same time playing these Grand Theft Auto remasters. Both entities came into my life around the same time in my most formative years, so I am currently experiencing a very unique nostalgia. I'm hoping that by simultaneously reviewing these Grand Theft Auto games and eulogizing an old hero of mine, it will help me process these feelings. I would be remiss not to mention that while doing research on Lowtax's death, I was horrified to discover that the man was an accused woman beater. I was sharing this story with a friend of mine and was finding it difficult to express my complicated feelings. How do you mourn the loss of someone that was so important to you, but committed such atrocities? My friend put my mind at ease. He compared the situation to the death of renowned rapist Kobe Bryant. Kobe was an impressive athlete, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with acknowledging that. He was also a raper, so the schadenfreude you experience when thinking about his fatal, fiery whirlybird explosion is completely healthy and akin to celebrating a villain slain. These ideas can coexist. Now let's take a look at the GTA games. These remasters are getting dunked on for using lazy AI upscaling. Of course, we have no idea how much work was actually put into remastering these games, nor how it was done. I do see the graphical mistakes and glitches, but it doesn't bother me. It's not affecting me in my playthrough at all. I do, however, appreciate the quality of life changes, the tighter gunplay and car handling, and of course the more lenient mission checkpoints. The cutscenes are just as well performed and written, and the radio remains a highlight. It was a bit of a bummer to see that they didn't fork over the money for the more expensive licensed music, but that's not a deal breaker for me. Replaying these three titles, it's easy to see why they were so groundbreaking in the early 2000s. Likewise was Richard Lowtax Kyanka, founder of the website somethingawful.com, an online community that predates 4chan and Reddit and most other forms of social media. Lowtax had his hand in many a pie. The hilarious short film Doom House.
A Doom House? A Doom House! A Doom House?
His infamous brawl with director Uwe Boll. Uwe, an objectively terrible filmmaker, organized a boxing match with some of the internet's most vocal film critics. Lowtax agreed to take part, thinking it was merely a publicity stunt. Unfortunately for him, Uwe, who was a trained boxer, had full intention of beating these doughy internet dwellers unconscious.
Round one, here we go. Richard Lowtax Kyanka seems to be dancing around like this is some sort of joke. Uwe Boll, on the other hand, very serious, throwing some seriously big shots. He looks like a man that hits pretty good. Looking for the crowd's approval, in a sense. Is he going to get up? He's up. Is he ready to fight? He's going to fight some more. They're back at it again. Oh, there's a big right hand. Oh, good left jab followed by the big right hand. Put Richard Kyanka down.
But Lowtax's largest contribution by my measure to popular culture was in the delightfully absurd, early viral Flash cartoon Inspector Urine. Urine's messy slapdash animation mirrors its equally grotesque concept. A parody of the children's cartoon Inspector Gadget, instead of it being about a cyborg with a body full of handy high-tech gear, Inspector Urine's body is made up entirely of human piss.
Inspector Urine.
Unfortunately, Lowtax would never achieve such heights again. He was accused of shilling for an exotic fruit company, promoting the product on his forum, and using shady hidden Amazon affiliate links to profit off the sales. He lost the trust of his largest fan base and was alienated from his own community. When the police report surfaced of his spousal abuse in 2020, he had no choice but to sell the forum and the website. He did continue his YouTube channel. His Patreon greatly suffered, but some stayed on. He promised that should he get convicted of any of the abuse charges in a court of law, he would reimburse his supporters to the tune of 4 times their previous contributions. On November 9th, 2021, the court acknowledged the abuse claims and ordered Lowtax to pay his ex-wife $90,000 in alimony. The creator of Inspector Urine, a piece of media that has acted as a guiding light for me to this very day, Richard Lowtax Kyanka, shot himself in the face. Out of curiosity, I wanted to see how Grand Theft Auto V compared to these remasters. Upon turning it on, my character immediately ran into a dog that I could somehow psychically communicate with. The dog alerted me to a man stuck in a tree. The man turned out to be a wealthy adrenaline junkie. Together, we boarded his private whirlybird that took us to the top of a mountain. We parachuted down onto some mountain bikes where we competed in a race to the bottom. The problem with these remasters is not the shoddy new coat of paint. I'm sad to say it, but it's the core games themselves. In Grand Theft Auto V, it's not just about getting to point B or killing X. It's the world. It's the sandbox. Everywhere you turn in that game is a new discovery. After playing the most recent evolution of the format, it's impossible to go back and have a good time with a less realized version. Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, San Andreas, and Richard Lowtax Kyanka were pivotal cultural touchstones at the turn of the century. But I think we're ready to move on. Their historical impact is undeniable, but ultimately, we have exhausted them of their resources. 6 out of 10. Rest in peace, Lowtax. Thanks for watching.
Inspector Urine.
Hey, sorry, quick correction here. After doing some additional research, it turns out that Richard Lowtax Kyanka had nothing to do with the Flash animation Inspector Urine. It says here it was made by someone who goes by the name Taco the Wonder Dog.